Today, you are going to master everything when it comes to posting content on TikTok. This is lesson 6 out of the 10 in the series. If you haven't watched the first 5, I recommend you do so because we mentioned frameworks in this lesson that we have created in the previous one. Now, if you do want the resources and worksheets that go along with these, make sure you hit up the free Skool community in the description. So make sure you guys are paying attention and let's get started. Welcome to lesson 6. In the last lesson, we have left the warm, curated relationship dynamics of Instagram. We have stepped out the storefront window and onto the high-speed pavement of the internet. We are now standing in the middle of the most chaotic, ruthless, and opportunity-rich environment in the digital world, and that is TikTok. Now, most creators misunderstand this platform entirely. They think it's a social network. They think it's a place to connect with friends or share life updates. If that's how you're using it, you're wasting it. TikTok is not a social network. It is a discovery machine. In the shop window framework from lesson 4, we define TikTok as your foot traffic. Its primary function in your ecosystem is not to nurture, it is to find. It is an engine designed to go out into the world and grab a complete stranger by the collar and drag them into your business. Instagram is where you build depth. TikTok is where you build width. It is the top of your funnel. It is the fuel source for the entire creator flywheel. If you stop feeding the flywheel with new eyes, the whole system stops. You can have the best flagship store on YouTube and the most beautiful window dressing on Instagram, but if nobody knows your street exists, you go out of business. Today, we are going to master the physics of the machine. We are going to stop treating TikTok like some lottery ticket and start treating it like a lead generation weapon. We are moving from hoping for virality to architecting discovery. So, to win here, you must accept one hard truth though. TikTok is a cold attention marketplace. On Instagram, you are protected by your followers. You have history, you have warmth. When you post a story, people already know your name, your face, and your values. On TikTok, you almost have none of that. You are speaking to strangers 98% of the time. Every single time you post a video, you are walking onto a stage in front of a room full of people who have never seen you before, and you have to win them over from scratch. This is what I call the audition mindset. Every video is a fresh audition. You carry zero baggage. The algorithm does not care that your last video got 1 million views. It does not care that you're a leader in your niche. It only cares about this video right now. This terrifies anyone who's new. Anyone who's new wants safety. But for anyone experienced, the operator, this is the greatest advantage you have. It means that on TikTok, you are never too late. You are never shadow banned by your past. You are always one good script away from a massive influx of new leads. Because there is no loyalty to protect you. You cannot be lazy. You cannot have a slow intro. You cannot ramble on. You must deliver value with the precision of a surgeon. You must respect the fact that these strangers owe you absolutely nothing, not even a single second of their time. We need to talk about the engine that drives this cold market. We need to talk about the difference between social graph and interest graph, or the content graph. As we discussed in lesson 5, Instagram is built on the social graph. It maps who you know. If you follow me, you see my stuff. It relies on reputation. TikTok, however, is built on the interest graph. It maps what you like. It doesn't care about who you follow. It cares about what holds your attention. This is why you see accounts with 100 followers get 5 million views. An account with 5 million followers barely breaking 1,000 views sometimes. The platform rewards randomness and rhythm over reputation. This is a liberating shift. It means you do not need clout to win. You do not need to be famous to get distribution. You just need to be good. You need to master the scripting architecture we learned in lesson 3. You need to stop worrying about your follower count on TikTok. Followers are just a vanity metric. Focus on the signal. If the signal is strong, the distribution is inevitable. You are not building a fan club here. You are building a traffic source. Because we are operating in a cold market governed by an interest graph, we are subject to one biological law, the 3-second rule. The human brain decides in less than 3 seconds whether a piece of content is relevant or trash. On TikTok, that decision happens even faster. The first 2 to 3 seconds must capture attention instantly. This is not a stylistic choice. It is biological necessary. If you do not capture the scroll in the first 3 seconds, you have lost the audition. You spent your distribution currency, and the algorithm will stop showing your video to new people. This brings us back to friction language in lesson 3. You cannot start a TikTok with, "Hey guys, today I want to talk about," that is dead air. This is an invitation to scroll. You must start with the spike. You must create cognitive dissonance immediately. You need to have visual friction, so movement, text overlays, or a pattern interrupt. You also need a verbal friction. So maybe you can be attacking an assumption or a belief, or stating a counterintuitive truth. Every single video you post on this platform must pass the 3-second test. If the hook is weak, the video is dead before it begins. You are not easing them into content. You are jolting them into attention. Now, to master this machine, you need to change your relationship with failure. On YouTube, you might spend weeks crafting one perfect flagship video. That is correct for that platform. But on TikTok, quantity is quality. You need velocity. TikTok is a high-speed environment. The trends change daily, the sounds change hourly. If you're overthinking every post, trying to make it perfect, you're moving too slow. You need to adopt the 3-day sprint mindset from lesson 1, but accelerate it. You need to be testing hooks, testing angles, and testing formats constantly. I call this failing fast. If a video flops on TikTok, it doesn't matter. It disappears into the void. Nobody remembers it. But that flop gives you data. It tells you what didn't work. The creator who posts 5 times a week learns 5 times faster than the creator who posts once a week. You use TikTok to gather data for your infinite script engine. When a hook goes viral here, we know it works. Then and only then do we take that idea and upgrade it for Instagram or even YouTube. Use TikTok as your testing ground. Use volume to find the signal. Now, let's demystify the black box of the algorithm. Remember lesson 4, the algorithm is a mirror. It is not judging you, it is reflecting the signals you send. On TikTok, the mirror is looking for 2 specific signals above all others. Retention rate. What percentage of the video did they watch? What you guys should be aiming is for an over 85% watch time for viral potential. If the people are dropping off at the 5-second mark, your content isn't sticky enough. You need more stretch in your rhythm. Then you need to look at the completion rate. Did they watch to the very end? This is why short looped videos work so well. If someone watches your video twice because they missed a detail, that is a massive signal to the algorithm that this content is valuable. The algorithm's job is simple. Keep people on the app. If your content keeps people on the app, the algorithm becomes your distribution partner. It will push you to the For You page because you are helping it achieve its goal. Then finally, we need to define winning. Most creators think winning on TikTok means getting 1 million views. I know creators with 1 million followers on TikTok who are broke. Why? Because they have reach without capture. They are entertaining the masses, but they aren't moving the needle on their business. In the creator flywheel, TikTok sits at the publish stage, but it must feed into the capture stage. Your goal is not just to get views, it is to get a lead. We want to take that cold, random foot traffic and direct it towards our window dressing, Instagram, or our flagship store, YouTube. We optimize for conversion, not clout. Every video must have a purpose. It must move the viewer one step closer to your inner circle, whether that's a pinned comment pointing to a lead magnet or a verbal CTA telling them to check their Instagram for the full breakdown. You must direct the flow. Traffic without direction is just noise. We are here to build a business, not a random fan club. Now that we understand the physics of the cold market, we need to learn how to perform on the stage. We need to master the architecture of the video itself. In part 2, we are going to break down the HRD framework specifically for TikTok. We are going to learn how to win the audition in the first 3 seconds, every single time. Now, let's move on to part 2. As a reminder, we have established the physics of the cold market. You know that you are speaking to strangers, that you have 0 baggage, and that you have exactly 3 seconds to prove your worth. Now we need to build the vehicle that survives that environment. In lesson 3, we introduced the HRD framework. Hook, reveal, drop. This is the scalpel of short form content. On Instagram, you can be a little softer because the audience knows you. On YouTube, you have time to build context. But on TikTok, you need to cut to the bone. Most creators fail on TikTok because they warm up. They treat the camera like a friend. they say hello, they check their hair, they ramble. The algorithm watches this happen, see the audience scroll away in 0.5 seconds, and categorizes your content as trash. We are going to use the HRD to engineer a video that is impossible to scroll past. This isn't just a scripting technique, it is a survival mechanism. The hook stops the thumb physically and mentally. The reveal delivers the dopamine hit to value instantly. The drop loop them back into the start or send them to the profile. If your video does not follow this arc, do not post it. It will die in the 200 view jail, and this will be your fault, not the algorithms. Let's start with a visual hook. Before a viewer hears a single word you say, they see you. The TikTok feed is a river of sameness. You see someone's face, face again, someone dances, face, random dog, face. To win the audition, you must create a pattern interrupt. You need to use strong, hook-driven captions in bold, readable fonts. Now, this is your first weapon. Text overlay. Do not put a tiny text at the bottom. Put a massive headline right above your head in the safe zone. Use the accent color from your visual DNA from lesson 2. Make it flash and make it pop. Then second, use movement. Do not start the video sitting still. Start in motion. Walk into frame. Drop a book on a desk. Zoom the camera in. This visual suddenness triggers the brain's threat detection system, the amygdala. It forces the viewer to pause just to see what happened. You are buying yourself milliseconds of attention. Spend them wisely. Now, once you have stopped the farm visually, you must lock the brain verbally. This is the verbal hook in lesson 3 we talked about. Friction language. This is where it lives or dies. You cannot use topic hooks like, here are 3 tips for weight loss. That is boring. The brain filters it out as noise. You must use friction hooks that attack assumptions instead of tips for weight loss. Say, the reason you can't lose weight isn't your diet, it's your sleep. Do you feel the difference? One is a list, the other is a challenge. The viewer has to watch to resolve the tension you just created. The first 2 seconds matter the most. A great verbal hook creates an open loop. So from lesson 3. So I tried the most popular strategy for X, and here is why it failed. Or you could say, stop doing X if you want Y. You are colliding with their worldview. That collision generates heat, and heat generates retention. Immediately after the hook, you need a micro promise. TikTok users have trust issues. They have been burned by thousands of clickbait videos that promised value and delivered nothing. You have to reassure them in the first 5 seconds that the payoff is coming. This sounds like, I'm going to show you the exact settings I use. Or you could say, by the end of this video, you will know how to, then, whatever you're teaching. Or you can even say, this took me 5 years to learn. I'll teach you in 30 seconds. This sets the contract. Aim for 15 to 30 seconds with a single focused takeaway. The micro promise tells them which takeaway they are getting. It anchors them. It tells the brain, okay, I can invest in this short. I can invest 20 seconds here. Now, without the micro promise, they fear you are going to ramble on for 3 minutes and they scroll to find something faster. Now we enter the reveal. This is the body of your video. The enemy is dead air. On YouTube, you can pause for effect. You could take a breath. But on TikTok, a breath is literally an exit door. You must edit with ruthless velocity. Every second should push the story forward. This means you must cut out the filler words, the ums, ahs, and the pauses between sentences. We use jump cuts. Even if you were just talking, zoom in slightly on one sentence and zoom out on the next. Change the visual texture every 3 to 5 seconds. Pop a sticker on the screen, show a screenshot, cut to B-roll. This keeps the eye moving. The human eye is drawn to movement. If the screen is static for too long, the thumb starts to twitch. You are not just delivering information, you are managing the viewer's dopamine levels. Keep the energy high, keep the pacing tight. This is why the specialist archetype we discussed works so well. It is dense with value delivered at speed. Here is a pro level tactic for the operator. The loop. The TikTok algorithm weighs rewatch rate heavily. If someone watches your video twice, that is a massive sign for quality. You can engineer this by looping your video. This means the last second of your video flows perfectly into the first sentence. So at the end of the video, you can say, and that is the biggest reason why And then at the start of the video, you can say, most creators fail on TikTok. When you do that, the viewer doesn't realize the video had restarted until they are 3 seconds into the second viewing. By then, you have already hooked them again. This boosts your completion rate over 100%. It is a technical hack, but it relies on scripting architecture. You have to plan the drop to feed the hook. It turns a linear clip into a circular trap of value. To keep this up without running out of ideas, you rotate through the 3 TikTok archetypes. You cannot just do the same style every day, or your audience and you will get bored. Now, the specialist, so this is the education, this is your bread and butter. How to X, stop doing Y. So high value, high density, strategist energy. Then the goal for that is for more saves and shares. Then you want to be the believer. So you're going to be establishing your identity. This is your brand gravity. So you can be like unpopular opinion, or here is the truth about whatever, raw videos. So you can record any video walking down the street. Then you would have truth teller energy. Speak a truth using the truth teller energy and post it immediately. And the goal is comments and controversy. We have the demonstrator. This is your visual proof. So you can post a video like, watch me edit this. Here is the client result. Show, don't tell. This is your performer energy. And the goal for this is to get trust and more profile views. I want you to rotate these. For example, Monday is specialist, Tuesday is believer, and Wednesday is demonstrator. This keeps the feed fresh and hits different psychological triggers for different segments of the cold market. You now have the architecture for the perfect TikTok video, but a video is useless if nobody can find it. We need to make sure that when you post, the algorithm knows exactly who to show it to. In part 3, we are going to master SEO and signals. We are going to turn TikTok into a search engine. Now, we have mastered the audition. You know how to hook a stranger in 3 seconds using the HRD and friction language. For years, creators treated TikTok like a slot machine. They posted, prayed, and hoped the For You page would randomly bless them. That is not a strategy. That is gambling. And as operators, we do not gamble. We engineer outcomes. We need to understand a fundamental shift in the platform. TikTok is the Google for Gen Z. It is no longer just a discovery feed. It is a search engine. Millions of users are not scrolling aimlessly. They are actively searching how to fix my retention, best camera settings, or meal prep ideas. If your content is not optimized for search, you are invisible to the highest intent traffic on the platform. You are relying entirely on the ephemeral viral spike, which dies in 24 hours. But when you master TikTok SEO, your videos become long tail assets. They continue to get views, leads, and engagement weeks and even months after you post them. Now we are going to master the algorithm mirror. We are going to learn how to speak the robot's language so it knows exactly who to show your content to. The first signal the algorithm looks for is visual context. TikTok's AI watches your video. It reads the text on your screen to categorize your content before it even listens to the audio. This means on-screen text is not just for the viewer, it is metadata for the machine. If your hook is stop doing this, the algorithm has no idea what this is. It clarifies you as general entertainment. But if your on-screen text says stop doing low-calorie diets, the algorithm instantly categorizes you into the health and fitness. You must place your niche keywords on the screen in the first frame. Use your visual DNA from lesson 2. Use your headline font and your accent color. Make the keywords pop. This serves a dual purpose. For the human, it acts as a visual hook for the viewer scrolling with the sound off. For the AI, the robot, it gives the algorithm a hard data point to index your video into the search. Do not be subtle. If you're teaching real estate investing, those words must be on the screen. We are training the mirror to reflect us correctly. Next, we move on to the caption. On Instagram, the caption is a mini blog post for the human. On TikTok, the caption is the code for the algorithm. You have a character limit and you have a short attention span to deal with. Now, I want you to include captions to tell viewers exactly what to do next. But beyond the call to action, you need keyword density. You need to write natural sentences that include the specific phrases people type into the search bar. Instead of writing, wow, that was crazy, which tells the algorithm nothing. Write, here is the content strategy that I used to fix my retention rate on TikTok. Notice the bold words? Those are signals. You are spoon feeding the categorization engine. Staying consistent with your message is key. If your caption matches your on-screen text and your on-screen text matches your spoken words, you create a signal triangulation. The algorithm has 100% confidence in what your video is about, so it shows it to people interested in that topic. That is how you get qualified leads, not just random views. Now, let's talk about hashtags. Most creators use hashtags like hashtag for you page or hashtag viral. These are useless. You are competing with dancing teenagers and cooking videos. We need precision, a core set of 3 to 5 niche specific hashtags. We are going to operationalize this with the 3+2 rule. 3 niche tags. These are specific to your industry. So for example, hashtag content marketing, hashtag video editing tips, hashtag weight loss. These connect you to your specific tribe. Then you would have 2 broad tags. These are slightly wider categories. So for example, entrepreneur, marketing. These help you expand into the adjacent audiences. Do not spam 30 hashtags. It looks desperate and it confuses the categorization AI. Smart hashtag strategy is equal to discoverability. Use them like a compass, not just decoration. Every tag you use is a request to the algorithm. Please file my video in this drawer. Make sure you are choosing the right drawer. We talked about the content graph in part 1. The algorithm builds a profile based on what you post. If you post a video about dogs today, a video about crypto tomorrow, and a video about cooking on Wednesday, you're breaking the signal. The algorithm cannot categorize you, so it stops recommending you. This brings us back to brand gravity from lesson 2. You need pattern integrity. Your visual DNA, so your colors, fonts, face, and your signature vocabulary must be present in every single video. When the algorithm sees the same face, the same font, and here's the same keywords, for example, systems, flywheel, architecture, for me, for example, over and over again, it builds a high confidence profile. It says this user is the authority on systems. Once you earn that label, the algorithm becomes your employee. It automatically routes your content to people who search for systems. Consistency is not just for the human audience, it is for the machine learning model. You are learning the AI to work for you. Now, how do you know if you are winning the SEO game? You audit it. I want you to perform the categorization audit on your last 5 videos. Open your video, look at the top of the screen, right above your caption in the search bar. Does it say find related content, or does it have a specific search term like best video editing apps or anything that links to whatever your niche is? If it has a specific search term that matches your niche, you have won. The algorithm has successfully indexed you. If it says find related content or something completely random like funny cats, you have a signal problem. It means your hook, text, and captions were not aligned. You confused the mirror. As an operator, you check this daily. If a video is miscategorized, you know you need to sharpen your keywords on the next one. We do not guess, we measure. Now, why do we do all this work? Because we want to escape the hamster wheel of daily posting. When you rely on the For You page, your video dies in 48 hours. When you rank in the search, your video lives for months. I know people that have videos from 6 months ago that generate leads every single day because they rank at the top of the search results for the specific questions. This is how you build a library, not just a feed. You are turning foot traffic into a steady stream of passerbys who are actively looking for what you sell. This prepares you for the next step. Once you have the traffic, once the algorithm is showing you to the right people, you have to move them. You cannot pay your bill with views, right? You need to move them off the rented land of TikTok and into the owned land of your ecosystem. We are going to master that trend hijacking. We are going to learn how to use the momentum of the platform to amplify your authority without losing your identity. As we have gone through everything, we now have the architecture. We have the SEO. Now we need to talk about the fuel that makes TikTok move faster than any other platform on earth: trends. But before we dive in, I need you to perform a hard reset on your mindset. Most creators look at trends and see a requirement to perform. They see a dance, lip sync, or a meme, and they think, I have to do that to grow. So they copy it. They mimic the dance. They mouth the words. They become a dancing monkey for the algorithm. That is mimicry. And mimicry is the fastest way to destroy brand gravity we built in lesson 2. If you are a serious business owner or a category leader, you cannot be seen chasing the approval of teenagers. It lowers your status. However, ignoring trends entirely is also a mistake. That makes you irrelevant. The operator's path is the third option, trend hijacking. Now, trend hijacking is when you take the momentum of a viral format and inject your specific identity content into it. You are not copying the message, you are stealing the vehicle. The trend is just the delivery truck. Your expertise is the actual cargo. We are going to learn how to use the platform's energy without sacrificing your own authority. Now, how do you actually hijack a trend without looking foolish? You use the context layer. Most trends on TikTok are built on a specific audio track or a visual format. Now, a new person uses the audio to tell the same joke everyone else is telling. The category leader uses the audio as a background bed to deliver a truth teller rant. Even as a coach or educator, trending sounds can be used for punchy intros or to humanize your content. But we go deeper. We overlay context. Example would be, there is a trending sound of someone screaming in frustration. What the newbie would do, they would act out dropping their coffee. Funny, but useless. For the operator, they would put text on screen. Me watching creators post 30 hashtags hoping to grow. Then in the caption, you break down the actual hashtag strategy, the 3+2 rule. You use the emotion of the trend, the frustration, to segue into your specific solution, the strategy. You are pivoting the conversation from entertainment to education. This signals to the algorithm that you are culturally relevant, but it signals to your ideal client that you're an expert who sees the world through a different lens. You cannot hijack a vehicle if it has already left the station. Speed is essential. If you jump on a trend 3 weeks late, you look out of touch. You need a system for trend spotting. Now, what you should do is check the discovery tab on a regular basis. But as an operator, you need to curate your own feed. You need to train your For You page to show what is rising, not what is funny. Now check out the 10-minute audit. Spend 10 minutes a day scrolling, but do not scroll as a consumer. Scroll as a hunter. Look for audio signals. If you hear the same song or sound clip 3 times in 10 minutes, that is a trend. It is rising. Click the spinning record icon on the bottom right so you can look at the sound. Look at the timestamps of the top videos. Are they from 2 days ago? Green light. Hijack it. Are they from 3 months ago? Red light, it is dead. You are looking for the wave before it crests. This allows you to surf the momentum of the algorithm whilst everyone is paddling out. Now, this brings us back to the 3-day sprint philosophy from lesson 1. But on TikTok, we compress it. On YouTube, perfect is the goal. However, on TikTok, relevant is the goal. And perfect is the enemy of relevant. If you spot a trend on Tuesday morning and you wait until Friday to film it because you want to set up your lights, write a script, the trend is gone. You must execute with velocity. You should batch film, save in drafts, post consistently. But for trends, you film immediately. Use your phone, use natural light. Don't worry about the contextual quality. If you can connect a trending moment to your brand promise within an hour of seeing it, you will ride the viral wave. If you wait, you are just cleaning up the debris. The market rewards speed. Now, one of the most powerful forms of hijacking is collaboration. TikTok has features called Duet and Stitch. You guys have known this for years. These allow you to literally insert yourself into someone else's viral video. Now, let's go over the Stitch strategy. You find a video in your niche that is getting millions of views, but giving bad advice. Stitch the first 5 seconds of it, then cut to yourself saying, actually, this is exactly why you're stuck. Here is the truth. You are borrowing their hook to deliver your correction. This establishes instant authority because you are positioning yourself against the noise. Now let's go over the duet strategy. Find a video that reinforces your worldview, duet it, and simply nod or point to the text. This is lower effort, but it aligns your brand gravity with the original creator's momentum. It says to the algorithm, my audience is the same as their audience. It is a growth hack for relevance. Now, a warning. You cannot build a legacy on other people's sounds. If 100% of your content is lip syncing or trending audio, you do not have a voice. You are a mime. To be a category leader, you must produce original audio. This is your authority gear on TikTok. Sit down, look at the camera, speak. Use your brand voice triangle from lesson 2. Tone, vocabulary, rhythm. When you speak deeply and authoritatively, people will stop scrolling to listen to you, not the song. The goal is to have your voice become the trending sound. When you drop a raw truth teller rant that is so poignant that other creators start using your audio to make their own videos, you have won the game. You have moved from being a trend hijacker to a trend setter. So I want you to balance your diet. Use trends for reach, but use original audio for identity. The danger of trend hijacking is identity drift. It is very easy to get addicted to the views that come from silly trends. You start doing dances, you start participating in memes that have nothing to do with your business. Suddenly, your flagship store looks like a circus. You must run every trend through the brand core filter. Ask yourself, does this trend allow me to demonstrate my expertise? Does this audio align with my consistent vibe? If a higher ticket client saw this, would they trust me more or less? If their answer is less, do not do it. No amount of views is worth your reputation. We hijack trends to amplify our signal, not to distort it. Stay in your lane, but drive the fastest car on the road. You now have the discovery engine fully built. You have the hook, HRD, the signal, SEO, and the velocity, trends, but all of this traffic is useless if it stays on TikTok. We need to build a bridge. We need to move these people off the rented land and into your own ecosystem. We are going to master the conversion bridge. Let's move on to the next part. We have arrived at the most critical part of the TikTok ecosystem. You have mastered the audition, you have optimized for search, and you have hijacked the trends. The algorithm is working. The views are rolling in. The foot traffic on the pavement is dense. But here is the brutal reality. Views do not pay the rent. You cannot deposit likes into your bank account if you have 100,000 followers on TikTok, but you don't have the email addresses or the presence in your inner circle. You do not have a business. You have a fragile, rented audience that could be taken away with one algorithm update or one ban. The goal of the discovery machine is not to keep people on TikTok, it is to move them off TikTok. This is the capture gear of your creator flywheel. But moving a user off platform is difficult. TikTok wants them to stay. The user wants to keep scrolling for the next dopamine hit. To get them to leave, you need to build a conversion bridge. A bridge is not just a link. A link is passive. A bridge is an active psychological structure that makes leaving the app feel like the inevitable next step in the journey. Most creators fail here because they treat the link in their bio like a decoration. They say, link in bio, and expect magic. That is the amateur approach. So now we are going to engineer the exit. We are going to learn how to turn a 50-second viewer into a lifetime lead. The bridge starts inside the video itself. You cannot wait until the caption to ask for the click. You must speak it, but you must be surgical. If you scream, click the link at the start of a video, you kill your attention and the algorithm buries you. The call to action must be implemented into the drop of your HRD framework. You need to include a call to action in your caption or comments, but the verbal call to action is the strongest signal. You need to use the resource frame to make the CTA feel like value, not a pitch. The amateur would say, please check out my website, so it seems like they're begging. The operator, however, would say, I couldn't fit the full breakdown in the 60 seconds, so I put the PDF in my bio. Did you see the difference? You are telling them that the value continues on the other side of the bridge. You are using the limitation of platform, the time, as the reason for the exit. You can say, this is too complex for TikTok, but I did a deep dive on YouTube. Link in bio. You aren't selling a click. You are selling the rest of a solution. This triggers the brain's need for completion. They click because they need to close the loop you opened in the video. Once the video ends, the eyes go on two places, the like button and the comments. The comment section is prime real estate. Just like Instagram, you can pin a comment to the top. This is your billboard. Do not let a random user occupy the top spots of your most viral video. You must occupy it. You should use this specifically for lead capture. As soon as you post a video, write a comment saying, want the free, and then whatever the lead magnet is mentioned in the video, grab it here, and here's the link. Then you pin it immediately. Now, why does this work? Because the comment section is where the super users go. The people who open the comments are the most engaged viewers. They are the ones most likely to convert. By pinning the link, or the direction to the link, you reduce the friction. They don't have to go back to your profile page. They see the instruction right where they are engaging. This is how you capture the traffic while it's hot. And now TikTok has evolved. It now allows you to group videos into playlists, often displayed as series or collections at the top of your profile. This is your tool for bingeability engineering. One video creates a spark, but a playlist creates a bonfire. If a new user finds you through a viral video about scripting, they might watch it and leave. But if that video is a part of a playlist called Scripting Masterclass, they will click the playlist and watch 5 more videos in a row. This increases your session depth, and the deeper they go into the session, the more trust they build, and the more likely they are to cross that conversion bridge. You need to curate your best identity content and action content into clearly labeled playlists. So you can have playlists like tutorials, client wins, etc. Check my tutorial playlist for the full context. You are not just sending them to a link. You are sending them deeper into your library. You are turning a random scroll into a structured education. We need to talk about what is on the other side of the bridge. If you send TikTok traffic to a £2,000 course sales page, you will fail. The gap is too wide. You need a lead magnet handshake. You need low friction, high value offer that acts as the first step. Your lead magnet must align perfectly with your TikTok archetypes. If your viral videos are about saving time, your lead magnet cannot be a 90-minute webinar. That is a conflict of interest. The lead magnet should be a cheat sheet, a template, or a checklist, something fast, something that gives an immediate dopamine hit. Now listen to this. This is the alignment rule. The hook of your video and the headline of your lead magnet should effectively be the same. The video would be how to write viral hooks. The lead magnet, the viral hook PDF. The call to action, get the PDF. This creates a seamless experience. The user doesn't feel like they are being sold. They feel like they are downloading an upgrade for the video they have just watched. This alignment creates high conversion rates from cold traffic. How often should you push people across the bridge? If every single video ends with click the link in my bio, you become noise. You become the beggar on the street corner. You should use the 5-to-1 rhythm we established in lesson 4. 5 value videos. These are pure education or entertainment. The call to action is soft, follow for more, or save this for later. These videos are designed to feed the algorithm and build content graph signal. 1 conversion video. This video is designed to specifically sell the click. The entire script is engineered around the problem that your lead magnet solves. The reveal would be, I built a tool to fix X. Then the drop would be, go get it right now. By maintaining this ratio, you protect your brand gravity. You earn the right to ask. When you do the ask, the audience respects it because they have received so much free value already. Do not burn your audience by treating them like an ATM. Treat them like you would with a garden. Water them 5 times for every 1 time you harvest. Now, the most advanced form of the conversion bridge is the keyword automation. TikTok, like Instagram, is moving towards chat-based conversion. Instead of sending people to a bio link, which requires them to leave the video, go to the profile and click, you can ask them to comment. So you can say comment system and I'll send you the training. This works for 3 reasons. 1, algorithmic boost. Comments are a high value engagement signal. When 50 people comment system, the algorithm pushes the video to more people. Another thing is that it's low friction. It is easier to comment than to click a bio link. Then the capture. Once they comment, you can reply manually or through tools with the direct link or DM them. When you reply to their comments with a link, they get the notification. They click it, they convert. This turns the comment section into a funnel. It moves the transaction closer to the content. Now, for your homework, I want you to build your bridge today. Ensure the link in your bio points to a specific lead magnet, not a homepage. Post a video using the 5-to-1 rhythm. Make this your conversion video. Use a verbal call to action and a pinned comment. Track the clicks. We have one more high velocity tool to master on TikTok. The tool that builds trust faster than anything else. In the next part, we are going deep into going live. We are going to open a pop-up shop in the middle of a busy street. So now we have covered the feed, we have covered the search bar, we have covered the trends, but there is one more dimension to the discovery machine that most creators ignore because they are afraid of it. They are afraid of being unscripted. They are afraid of the raw, unfiltered nature of real-time video. I am talking about TikTok Live. In the shop window framework, if the feed is the busy street where you hand out flyers, TikTok Live is a pop-up shop. It is a temporary high energy event right in the middle of the pavement. It allows you to stop the traffic, look people in the eye, and prove in real time that you are who you say you are. Why? Because you cannot fake a live stream. You cannot edit out the pauses. You cannot hide behind a script. If you are a fraud, a live stream exposes you. But if you are a category leader, a live stream validates you. This compresses the trust timeline. You can achieve in 20 minutes on a live what it takes 20 videos on the feed. We are going to open the pop-up shop to answer questions, overcome objections, and move people across the conversion bridge. This is how you turn velocity into intimacy. But before you hit that button, we need to handle the logistics. You cannot run a professional operation if the shop is messy. First, the requirements. You need to have at least 1,000 followers to unlock the live capability. If you haven't hit that yet, use the HRD strategies from part 2 to get there. That is your sprint goal. Also, I believe you must be over 18 plus to access the gifting features, though gifting is not our primary revenue focus. Now, the setup. We need to use good lighting, clear audio, and clutter-free setup. This brings us back to your visual DNA from lesson 2. Your background is your set. If there is dirty laundry behind you or the lighting makes you look like a hostage, you are destroying your brand gravity. You want your live to look like a premium broadcast, not some random FaceTime call. Then the tech check. Do not wing it. You need to check if your tech is correct. So you need to test your mic if it's fine, test your camera, test your connection, use a stable Wi-Fi connection, use a tripod. Your stability signals your authority. If your phone is shaking, your brand looks shaky. You need to secure the environment so you can focus entirely on the audience. So what do you actually do on a live? You don't stare at the screen eating cereal, you serve. The most effective format for the expert creator is the Q&A session. This allows you to demonstrate your expertise on command. The strategy is simple. The hook. Put a sticker or text on the screen with a specific topic, for example, reviewing your content strategy or Q&A, how to scale. The engagement. Now, once you have done that, we're going to move on to the engagement. You need to use names, answer live questions. You need to make the viewer feel seen. When you say, "Great question, Sarah," Sarah feels a dopamine hit. She is now loyal. Then you take the pivots. You take a specific question and answer it using your frameworks from lesson 3. This proves you aren't just reciting scripts, you understand the material deep enough to improvise. As I said, you need to showcase your expertise, personality, and values, not just your offer. When people see you solve a problem live, they instinctively trust that your paid product will solve their problem privately. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Gifting. TikTok has a culture of roses, galaxies, and digital coins. For an operator, this is all just noise. Do not sit there thanking people for roses every 30 minutes. It lowers your status. You are a business owner, not a street performer. You need to use live for back-end monetization, not platform pennies. However, we do not ignore the features. You should leverage the stickers, the effects, and Q&A prompts. Use the Q&A feature to highlight questions on the screen. This is how you keep new viewers orientated. Your goal is to move them to the conversion bridge. So you need to soft sell wisely. Do not turn the whole stream into an infomercial. Don't oversell. Instead, weave in it. You can say, "That's a great question about lighting. I actually have a full gear list in my bio if you want the links." You are solving the problem, and the product is the resource. This feels like a service, not sales. Your live stream shouldn't die when you hit end. This is a content mine. If you go live for 30 minutes and answer 10 questions, you have just created 10 potential TikTok clips. This is the content assembly line we discussed in lesson 1. Screen record your live or download the replay from TikTok, clip the best answers, add captions, and post them as new videos throughout this week. This is high efficiency creation. It also serves as brand proof. When people see clips of you coaching live, it triggers the social proof layer of the pyramid. It shows that other people listen to you, which makes the new viewer want to listen to you. The guide reinforces this. Repurpose key moments as on-demand clips to reach wider audiences. You are doing the work once and getting paid in attention twice. Live is where you build the tribe. On the feed, people are individuals. On the live, they are a group. They see each other in the comments. they see the numbers ticking up. There is a shared energy. You need to cultivate this. Use inside jokes or signature phrases from your brand voice. If you have a name for your community, for example, the gym goers or whatever, use it. You could be like, welcome in, gym goers. This creates a sense of belonging. Now, I advise you to promote in advance using countdowns. So this trains your audience to show up at a specific time. So you can say, join me every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Appointment viewing creates habit. Habit creates loyalty. You are moving them from foot traffic to regulars who know when the pop-up shop opens. Now, finally, how do you close? You must have a clear call to action. Just like the video script, you cannot fade to black. You need a drop. Mention your offers or your services midstream, but at the end, you need to be direct. Say, for example, you say, if you got value from this Q&A and you want the templates I talked about, go to the link in my bio right now. I'm going to log off in 2 minutes. So this creates urgency. I'm logging off. This forces action. You are directing the momentum of the live event into the capture gear of your flywheel. You are turning the excitement of the pop-up shop into a line at the register. Now you have the entire discovery machine. You have the physics, the audition, the SEO, the trends, the bridge, and the live capability. But how do you fit all of this into your life without going crazy? How do you feed into this beast without starving your business? In the final part, we are going to install the TikTok operating system. We are going to lock in your daily workflow. We have reached the final stage of a TikTok masterclass. You understand the cold market physics, you have the HRD architecture, you have the SEO signals, trend hijacking strategy, the conversion bridge, and the live capability. But understanding the machine is not the same as operating it. TikTok is designed to be addictive. If you enter this app without a plan, you will lose 3 hours of your life scrolling and you will produce nothing. That is the consumer trap. We need to install the operator's routine. You need a workflow that allows you to feed this hungry beast without starving your actual business. You need to be able to produce velocity and volume. That's 5-to-1 ratio we discussed without living on your phone. We are going to take the 3-day sprint model from lesson 1 and adapt it specifically for the high-speed demands of the discovery machine. Your goal is simple. Spend 30 minutes a day on the app max. You enter, you deploy, you engage, and you exit. Now we lock that in. The core of your content strategy is the specialist archetype, the educational, value-driven videos that build authority. You must batch these. You should use the draft feature as your inventory warehouse. As I said earlier, you should batch film, save in drafts, and post consistently to stay active without daily burnout. Now moving on to the batching protocol. Set aside 1 hour on a Monday. You can script 5 scripts using the HRD framework, so in 15 minutes. Then you can film all 5 videos back to back. Change your shirt, location, or visual variety. And then you can edit it, trim the dead air, add your SEO text overlays, and save them to drafts. Now, you have your value content for the entire week sitting in your pockets. When it's time to post on Tuesday morning, you don't have to be creative. You just have to be an administrator. You open drafts, add the caption, and hit post. This ensures your brand gravity remains high because the quality is controlled. However, you cannot batch everything. If you only post polished batched content, you lose the raw energy that TikTok craves. You need spontaneous content. This is for the believer archetype, your identity, your rants, your reactions to industry news. This content should look a bit messy. It should look like you just had a thought and hit record. This builds authenticity. Remember, raw and real beats overly produced. Let people connect with you. Now, as for the workflow, when you see a piece of news or have a realization during your day, pull out your phone immediately. Walk while you talk, so movement would give a visual hook. Do not over-edit. Do not overthink. This balances the perfect batched content with the real spontaneous content. It proves you are a human, not a media company. This mix is what keeps the algorithm and the audience on their toes. You cannot improve what you do not measure, but on TikTok, the data is noisy. You need to know what to ignore. Once a week, open your creator tools and look at the analytics. We are looking for 2 specific signals. 1, average watch time. This is your retention score. If your video is 15 seconds long, but the average watch time is 4 seconds, your hook failed. Then number 2, the traffic source. Look at where the views came from. If they came from the For You page, this means your SEO and hooked worked. The algorithm found new people. If they came from your personal profile, This means your bingeability worked. People are visiting your profile and watching your backlog. This feedback loop is the engine of improvement. You are not guessing why your video failed, you are diagnosing the leak in the bucket. Now, we need to address the psychology of the flop, so when the video does bad. On Instagram, if a post gets low likes, it feels personal to you because, you showed it to your friends have seen it. But on TikTok, a flop is just data. You will post videos that you think are masterpieces and they will get 200 views. Do not delete them. Do not panic. A flop on TikTok usually means one of these three things. One, the hook didn't land, so the friction was too low. Number two, the SEO was unclear, so the algorithm didn't know who to show it to. Then number three, the timing was off. The operator does not get emotional about data. If a concept flops, try it again in 2 weeks with a different hook. Use the rhythm code to remix your own ideas. Sometimes change in the first 3 seconds turns a 200 view failure into a 200,000 view winner. Persistence is the ultimate algorithm hack. Finally, we must close the loop on the ecosystem. TikTok is the discovery machine, but it must feed the relationship machine. You must actively push traffic to your window dressing, so your Instagram. In your bio, make sure your Instagram icon is linked. In your verbal call to actions for your believer content, say, I'm going deeper in this on my Instagram stories today. If you want to see the behind the scenes of this project, check my IG. Why? Because DMs on TikTok are limited. Often you can't DM unless, you guys follow each other. But DMs on Instagram are open. You want to move the conversation to the platform where you can close the deal. You are using the velocity of TikTok to fill the pipeline of Instagram. This is a shop window strategy in action. Now you have the full manual for the discovery machine. You understand the cold market. You have the HRD scalpel. You have the SEO map. You have the trend hijacking protocols. And you have the conversion bridge. You are no longer a TikTok creator. You are a lead generation operator. Your job is to be the signal in the noise. While everyone else is dancing for attention, you are architecting for authority. While everyone else is chasing views, you are capturing leads. But remember the hierarchy. TikTok finds them, Instagram connects with them. But there is one final step. One place where the relationship is cemented forever. One place where you can build a legacy. In lesson 7, we are going to the destination. We are going to enter the flagship store. We are going to master YouTube, the loyalty engine. We are going to learn how to hold attention, not for 15 seconds, but for 15 minutes. Go film your first batch of videos, post your first HRD video, and I will see you in the flagship.